Django is a web application framework in Python. By making use of Python, Django framework is developed in order to make web applications very simple. To develop web applications very simple, use Django framework in the Python stream. First and foremost one, open a PyCharm, create a new project. I'm going for new project. I'm choosing a project name as a my project. Create, go to the new window. It is a simple PyCharm based, nothing is there. It's a simple PyCharm based project. Now, in the left side, you can see terminal, left to bottom. Left to bottom, you can see the terminal. Open the terminal, click on terminal. In the terminal, try installing Django. Install. Use pip command to install Django. Press enter. It will be installing Django for the current project. Whichever project we create inside a PyCharm, for that project, we are installing Django framework through pip command. This pip command is available. You can use straight away pip command. You can see successfully installed. To check whether Django installed successfully or not, from the same another command, python-m Django version. Python space -m Django version. We are getting a version here 3.1. So Django got installed successfully. We proved through a command. Python space -m space Django space -- version. Now we need to create one Django project. Please observe. Once Django got installed, then try creating Django project. From the same terminal, accessing Django admin. There is a command Django admin. It is used for creating a project, Django project. I will be using DPR1, something like a Django project 1. You can give any name. Inside a PyCharm project, we created Django project. Now you can see DPR1. In the DPR1, we can see manage.py and some other py files also. In order to make Django project, by default we are getting some Python files. So don't worry about anything related to these Python files. You will come to know one by one by one. Python project is ready. Go inside a Python project, everybody. In the command prompt, dpr1. We are inside a Python project. Inside a Python project. In the Python project, we need to run manage.py in order to start Python project. Use Python space manage.py. Manage.py run server. Whatever you are seeing manage.py, through that we can run the server. Press enter. Inside a Django project, there is a file called manage. Run that manage.py by supplying a input as a run server. It will be running the Python project. You are getting one link, one address. Just to click on this address, automatically browser is open. In the browser, you can see Django. Install work successfully. Congratulations. Django project is ready. Django project is ready. Inside a Django project, We can develop any number of Django applications. Django supporting microservices. Every service we are developing as one application. Inside a project, any number of applications can be developed. Now Django project is ready. Inside a Django project, based on your requirement, any number of applications can be developed. Each application will act as one microservice. In case of Django, everything is forcibly developing in the form of a microservices. Once a project is ready, try creating one application which will be acting as one microservice. Inside one application, any number of microservices, any number of applications. Let me develop one simple application. Again, go to the command prompt. Let me stop the server. Control C. Whatever Django project we ran, that we stopped through Control C. Now, command prompt is opened. In the command prompt, try to run again manage.py. Start the app name of the application. Through manage.py, we are creating a new application inside a Django project. In the Django project, we can develop any number of applications. This is one of the application. I'm choosing application name as app1. Yeah. Now you can see inside your project, there is a app1 folder. Inside app1, you can develop whatever you wanted. Go inside app1. Inside app1, there is a default views.py. Open this views.py. As of now, just a simple one line is there. We can use this render later. I'm not going to use render immediately. Later, we will be using. Let me define one simple Python function. I'm using a simple function with a name as a test. It has to take one argument. Choose that argument as a test. Choose that argument as a request. Return HTTP response. Try importing HTTP response. We are not getting any suggestions. Yes. A simple function, we define it in the views.py. We have choose a default views.py. We defined one function. In that function, we are returning HTTP response object from Django. In the Django, there is a HTTP. Inside a HTTP, import a HTTP response and create an object to HTTP response, return the same. While creating HTTP response object, try providing any content. I'm just supplying one argument, hello from Django. Let us provide one path for this. Every function can be assigned to one unique URL. Every function can be assigned to one unique URL. Through that URL, function can be invoked from a browser. Please observe. Inside a app1 folder, create one Python file, to assign a URL to a particular function. Right click on app1 project, go to the new, select a Python file. You can choose any name, but better to choose name as a urls.py. Python file urls.py. If you observe properly, guys, inside your dpr1 also there is a urls.py. It is global to entire project. Let me open project specific URLs. This content is there in the project specific URLs. Let me copy the same. Inside a project, URLs is there. I'm copying content of the URLs from the project URLs. Now, go to the application. Inside application, we ourselves created URLs. This is our URLs. It is specific to the current application. Specific to current application. We are not going to use admin now itself. Let me go for one blank path. Views.test. Import the views. also. Please develop exactly as it is. What we are doing here. We are defining one path. I'm not choosing any path identifier. Let us assign this to the home page. Without specifying any name, I want to access something from the browser. So I'm not providing any identifier for a path, but I'm choosing test function inside a views. Views is there in the same folder. Come on. Views is there in the same folder. That is why I'm importing views with a dot. In the current folder itself, import the views. Likewise, whatever functions we are developing, every function can have a unique path in the urls.py. Whatever paths we are defining under app1, whatever paths we are defining under app1, all the paths we are configuring in the urls.py of app1. Like a app1, any number of applications, every application will have its own independent urls.py, its own independent urls.py, its own independent urls.py. Yes. Now this urls.py should be specified in the main project URLs. This is the main project URLs. Go to the main project URLs. You need to include your application's URLs. This option. Your application URLs. This should be done only one time. Try add. I'm choosing a blank here also. Include application 1. Inside application 1, there is a urls.py. Specify this much. This include should be imported from the same URLs package. You can observe line number 17. I included, then I imported the same include. Now open a terminal to start the project. So project is stopped. Just go to the previous command to start the project. Run the previous command. App1 conflicts with the name of existing Python module. Please try another name. We created already app1 only. App1 folder inside that urls.py. App1 folder inside that urls folder. Absolutely proper. Now it is running. I didn't do any changes. I closed other Python window. So Python manage.py run server. Now, if you click on this, check it out whether you'll be getting the same previous output or different output. So you are getting our function return value. Our function return value. So please observe. App1 is specified. App1 is specified for the default URL. Please observe. App1 URLs are coming for the default. App1 URLs are coming for the default. Then go to the App1 URLs. In the App1 URLs, for the default, we are assigning a test function. Let us see one more function. Just to copy test function, try defining test1. Let me go for h1 tag. You can supply HTML content straight away. Guys, defined a new function. Try providing one URL path to the test1. App1 all URLs are there in one file. Try providing a new path to here. Inside a views, a new function. Inside a views, a new function. Function name is test1. Function name is test1. Inside a test1, whatever content is there, that should be accessible. Let me provide path as a T1. Earlier it was a blank. Now path is assigned T1. T1 is a URL to make a call to test1 function. Whatever Python functions are there, for that Python functions, we can assign one URL. Through that URL, we can access from a browser. Now, straight away open a browser. After blank, after welcome page, that is after slash, mention T1, press enter. We specified path explicitly as a T1. No need of restarting the server. We got straight away from hello T1. Likewise, let me develop another function from the same file. Go to the views.py. Any number of functions, test2. Let me supply a plain content, just like an integer number 2000. It is a new function. Let us provide one URL to this function. Go to the urls.py. Try adding all the paths. Let me choose path as a T2. Any name you can choose assigned to a particular function. In the same views, we defined another function. That function name is test2. Function name is test2. Try saving. That's all. No need of restarting anything. Open a browser. In the browser address bar, specify URL path as T2. You can see 2000 is come. Anything can be returned. Anything can be returned from the function. That return value should be HTTP response object. HTTP response object. Let me return one object. Let me return one object itself from a function. Go to the views.py, everybody. I'm defining class A. Inside a class A, just to define one attribute I. Let me assign I. Let us supply I as an argument. A simple class with one non-static attribute. Let me use class A inside a test3. I'm defining a test3 function with an argument as request. All these functions should take one argument. While calling a function through a URL from the browser, that function should take one argument. That argument is any identifier. I'm choosing identifier as a request. Let me create one object to A with I value as a 90. Try return I value. Return HTTP response. Let us return straight away A1. Let's see what will be. Inside A1, I is there. Whether I will be printing or something else is printing. We defined a class A with one non-static attribute. Created an object to class A in the test3 function, returning reference of class A object. Test3. Go to the URLs. Try providing a new URL. Let me go for T3 as a URL to the test3 function. This time, function is returning reference of the object. Reference of the object. Go to the browser, access T3. So we are printing a blank output. No problem. Come back to the views.py. Instead of A1, try returning dictionary of A1. Dictionary means members. It gives member names, not the values. Dictionary of A1, I'm returning from test3. Dictionary of A1, I'm returning from test3. Refresh again. In the dictionary, there is only one member, that is I. I is returning. By default, value will not be returning. You need to specify the value explicitly. Let's go for I. Now I value of the object, I value of the object will be written. What is the I value of A1? I value of A1 is 90. Refresh, 90 is written. Likewise, we can return object content. We can return object content. Now, let us see returning one dictionary itself. I'm developing test 4. Inside a test 4, define one dictionary. Hyphen A1, some value. A key value pairs. Key value pairs. Then, if you return straight away D1, you may not be getting anything. Let us check it out. Sorry. In the test4 function, I'm returning D1 through HTTP response. HTTP response of D1. Let us provide one URL for the test4. I'm choosing T4, function name as a test4. Open a browser. Refresh. Sorry, access T4. We are getting A1, test K1. These are the keys. In the dictionary, whatever keys are there, inside a dictionary, A1, test K1. These are the keys. If you want to get key along with the value, go for items. I'm modifying test4. Refresh T4. You can see entire content of the dictionary. Entire content of the dictionary. So likewise, we can develop a function which can return HTTP response object with any content. So please observe, in the views.py, we are defining functions. That functions are taking request, returning a response. While returning a response, you can supply any output. It can be object content or it can be any container. You can also return list or set or tuple, whichever you wanted. It's very simple. We defined almost 5 functions. We have observed how assigning URL to the function, returning function output through URL from a browser address bar. Now, how we can supply straight away template like a HTML file. I don't want to compose any output to the response in the function body. In the function body, I don't want to compose this type of content. Even I don't want to compose this type of thing. I need to assign one template. I need to assign one HTML file. How we can assign HTML file? First and foremost one, define one directory for the templates. Define one directory for the templates. I will be choosing a folder with a name as pages. Inside a pages folder, we can develop HTML files. Right click on app1 folder, go to the new selected directory. Select a directory. Any name you can choose. I'm just choosing pages. I need to develop all HTML files, all templates. HTML file is also called as a template. All the templates, all the HTML files I should develop in the pages folder. Now you need to configure pages folder to the framework, stating that for all the HTML files, look in the pages folder. For all HTML files, look into pages folder. Now, right click on pages folder, get the property. In the refactor, you can see copy directory. Inside app1 pages folder is there. Inside app1 pages folder, we are not getting complete path. Right click on pages folder, go to copy path. Right click on pages folder, go to copy, select copy path. Select absolute. Yes. We got path of the pages folder. Inside a project folder, there is a file called settings.py. In the settings.py, we need to configure pages folder location under templates directory. Open settings.py, go little down, you can see a place templates. In the project folder settings.py, you are seeing DIRS. Inside the templates, wherever DIRS is there, in this location, provide absolute path. One small change is required. Backward slash is not allowing Python. Wherever backward slash is there and all, try providing forward slash. This is the absolute path. In the settings.py, inside a DIRS directory, DIRS directory, DIRS directory. Now, pages folder is configured. We are ready to develop HTML files in the pages folder. Right click on pages folder, go to new, define one HTML file. Let me choose HTML file name as hello1.html. By default, it is taking HTML file. Let it take HTML file itself. Let me keep a simple content in the body. I'm from hello1. One template is ready. Let us use this template from the function body. I'm from hello1.html. Now, go to the views.py. Let us define a function. You can choose any function. Let's go for test file. It should take one argument, any name to the argument. Return. There is a render in the top import. By default, there is a render as a import. Request comma hello1.html. You are telling to the framework, try rendering hello1.html. For this render, you need to supply request also an additional argument. It is a part of the syntax. Render is developed in the top first line itself. You can check it out. We are using render first time. Render is only for providing a template, providing a HTML in the function body while returning output. We are not composing output here. We are telling to the framework, I provided complete content in the HTML file. Try rendering HTML. Try rendering HTML. Now try defining one URL to the test file. That's all. Now go to the browser, give a call to T5. You can see output of the HTML is rendering. Generally, we will be choosing a HTML file, not the content composing inside a function. Inside a function, composing a content may not be a frequent. What is the frequent? We will be using a separate HTML file. Now, let us define another HTML file. Everybody, a new HTML file. Let's go for hello2.html. Everybody, I'm supplying one dynamic parameter. Let me print his age also. It's very simple. In the HTML file, we are trying to print first name and age. What are these two? Who will be supplying first name and age? This HTML expecting two values. One is a first name value. Second one is a age value. One is a first name. Second one is a age. Whoever using hello to HTML, they should supply value to first name, value to age. Let's see how to supply value to first name, value to age. Go to the views.py, try defining test6. In the test6, I'm calling hello2, but hello2 required first name and last name. Try defining one dictionary. We know very well about dictionary. First name, let's go for age. You need to supply data as a third argument to render. Render constructor taking the third argument as a default argument. That's all. So whoever rendering hello2.html, they should supply a dictionary which should contain first name and age. Which should contain first name and age. hello2.html. Data. Now assign one URL to the test6. Assign one URL to the test6. I'm assigning URL as a T6. Assign one URL as T6. Try running T6. Open a browser. Give a call to T6. Hello Vijay, 29. Dynamically, we are sending data to the template. Dynamically, we are sending data to the template. Now, whoever using hello2 template, whoever using hello2 HTML, what they have to do? Hello2 HTML. They should supply one dictionary which should contain key name as a first name, key name as a age. Key name as a first name, key name as a age. These are the very basics of the Django. We have seen initial setup, then how view can be producing output on its own or by making use of template. In the views.py, output is generating through response object or render object. Response object, we are composing output straight away there itself. Render object, you are supplying an output through HTML. For that HTML, if any input required, like a data, you can supply. Now anybody can use hello2.html. It is acting as a template to multiple users. Why it is called as a template to multiple users? Any user can use a hello2.html by supplying a dictionary as first name and age. We can reuse hello2.html in across the functions, in across the views, wherever it is required. But you need to supply the data. Data is placing inside a template. Hello2.html. This content is a static always. This content is changing. Inside a template, dynamic values are inserting. This is all about very basics of Django. Please prepare very well. We will continue in the next section.